Today in the show, Milan shells out an abnormal 65 million euros for Diego Morera and prepares to sell Rafael Leão. Meanwhile, Galatasaray offers crazy money to Bruno Fernandez, but United has already decided everything, and Al-Hilal kicks out Karim Benzema to snatch Ollie Watkins from Aston Villa. We talk about all this and much more right now. Rodri's arrival in Barcelona became a major event, signaling the final chord of the reigning Ballon d'Or winner's high-profile return to his homeland. Confident and highly motivated, the Spaniard arrived at El Prat Airport and immediately shared his initial emotions regarding his move to the Catalan club.
I'm happy to be back home. Barcelona is a great club with an incredible history and ambition. I can't wait to start working with my new teammates, and I'll give everything possible so that we win and capture absolutely everything from La Liga to the Champions League. I'll reveal all the details and emotions at the official presentation.
Directly from the airport, the midfielder headed to the Blaugrana Medical Center for thorough testing. Right after that, the formal contract signing is scheduled at the club's office with the participation of Joan Laporta and Deco. Rodri's official presentation at the Loose Company's Olympic Stadium is scheduled for Wednesday or Thursday. At the Spanish giant, the player will receive his special number 16 shirt, which he wore for years at Manchester City while winning the Ballon d'Or. Taking this number became possible thanks to Fermin Lopez, who took over the prestigious number 7 vacated following Ferran Torres' transfer to PSG. By unloading the wage bill through Torres' departure, the Catalans expect to register the holding midfielder's contract in La Liga before the end of the week, so Hansi Flick plans to integrate the player into the squad immediately, making him eligible to debut in Sunday's match against Elche. Milan is closing the second most expensive transfer in its history. Following the historic signing of Gonçalo Ramos for 74 million euros, the Rossoneri are signing a player who appears relatively unknown to the general public from Chelsea. Well, from Chelsea, legally, the player is being purchased from French side Strasbourg, which belongs alongside the Londoners to Todd Boehly's unified Blueco multi-club network. We are talking about 22-year-old Belgian-wide forward Diego Morera, for whom the Italian giant is laying out 65 million euros, consisting of 50 million euros fixed, plus 15 million euros in performance add-ons. Who is Diego Morera and how is this scheme structured? He is a left-footed winger and fullback for the Belgium national team who developed through Benfica's academy. In 2023, Chelsea signed him for free, but the player failed to establish himself in England and was dispatched to the Londoners' farm club, Strasbourg. It was in France during the 2025 to 2026 season that Morera pulled off a massive breakthrough, earning a call-up to the 2026 World Cup. Thanks to his explosive dribbling, Milan's data analysts, with assistance from agent Georges Mendes, identified the Belgian as an ideal reinforcement for Ruben Amorim under his 3-4-2-1 system. The player can cover the entire left flank as well as operate behind the striker alongside Christian Pulisic, providing the club with insurance in the event of Rafael Leão's sale. However, a sum of 65 million euros causes genuine astonishment, and here it is worth mentioning: media distortion of reality. When social media feeds and insiders bombard headlines daily with 80, 100, or 140 million euros, an average supporter's standard benchmark gets skewed. It begins to seem as if 50 to 60 million euros is just a standard baseline price for merely a talented lad. But if you strip away this noise and look at raw economics, this is massive, abnormal money. Transfers worth 80 to 120 million euros are not market norms, but an anomaly generated by Premier League clubs thanks to cosmic television rights, Saudi sovereign wealth funds, and giants like Real, Barcelona, or PSG. All other 99% of clubs on the planet live in an entirely different financial system of coordinates. For Italian Serie A, where clubs are constrained by financial fair play requirements, spending 65 million euros is a major event. For Milan management, where every penny is counted under Moneyball principles, This transfer represents an absolute high-risk, all-in move to build Amorim's new team. Diego Moreira's arrival confirms Milan management and Ruben Amorim are laying the groundwork for a definitive parting of ways with Rafael Leão. All summer, the Portuguese player's entourage counted on a queue of top Premier League clubs and a return to the Champions League. Yet harsh reality brought the player down to earth. Not a single Premier League giant submitted an official offer. What is more, Amorim made it clear that the willful winger with his attachment to the flank does not fit his tactical half spaces and disciplinary demands. Particularly telling is the drop in the player's market valuation. Where previously cosmic release clause figures appeared in his contract, Milan has now lowered the price floor to 50 million euros. The Rossoneri seek to close a permanent sale without dry loans to cover Diego Moreira's costs on their balance sheet. Currently, the Turin and Saudi vectors display the most concrete interest, while Galatasaray has already submitted official queries, having seen their opening proposal of 30 million euros plus 5 million euros in add-ons rejected by the Milanese. The Istanbul side offered Leao 11 million euros in net annual salary and is preparing an improved offer. In parallel, representatives of Saudi Pro League clubs declare a readiness to easily pay the 50 million euros Milan requires. The player's father and agent are already evaluating these options as the deadline relentlessly approaches. Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandes is staying at Old Trafford despite aggressive attempts by Istanbul side Galatasaray to entice the 31-year-old Portugal national team midfielder. The Turkish giant prepared an enticing financial proposal. Galatasaray stood ready to pay the Red Devils 50 million euros for the player's transfer, while offering Bruno himself a lavish financial package featuring a net salary of 20 million euros per year, plus a 4 million euro signing-on bonus. Such an allowance would double the Portuguese midfielder's current earnings. Interest in the midfielder was also probed by Italian sides Juventus and Milan, yet neither option forced the Manchester club to shift its stance. Management at Manchester United adopted an ironclad position. The team captain is officially not for sale at any price. Since the foreign club verbal release clause in the player's contract worth 65 million euros has officially expired, the Red Devils maintain total control over the situation. Bruno's current deal runs through the summer of 2027 with an option to extend for one more year, yet both parties are already negotiating a new, improved contract. Bruno Fernandes himself made it clear that he views his future exclusively in England and plans to continue playing for Manchester United, turning down any scenarios involving a move to Turkey. Saudi side Al-Hilal is returning to the transfer market with a colossal budget, ready to shower top European football stars with money for a major attacking overhaul. The club has already taken its first key step, terminating João Cancelo's contract, who waived his remaining salary to return to Barcelona, freeing up one precious foreign player slot under the strict Saudi Pro League roster cap. However, the Saudis' ambitious plan involves signing two star performers simultaneously, a recognized central striker and an explosive winger. To close both deals, the club critically needs to vacate another spot on their roster. The primary candidate for departure became 38-year-old French forward Karim Benzema. The issue is that Benzema does not fit into new head coach Simone Inzaghi's tactical plans, and management seeks to part ways with him. However, the situation hit a legal dead end. Karim flatly refuses to leave the team for free and demands full annual compensation under his remaining contract, which amounts to roughly 90 million euros in base salary. Because the Frenchman's contract is funded directly by the Sovereign Wealth Fund, the club is in no rush to pay out such a check without concessions, while the player legally blocks the second foreign slot. As soon as this knot is untangled, Al-Hilal will close the transfer of a new striker. Inzaghi's absolute number one target is 30-year-old Aston Villa forward Ollie Watkins. Al-Hilal has already fully agreed personal terms on a 3-year contract with Watkins, featuring a net salary of roughly 20 to 25 million euros per year. For Aston Villa, where the 30-year-old forward has 2 years remaining on his deal through the summer of 2028, this represents a chance to collect compensation in the range of 65 to 75 million euros. In parallel, Victor Osimhen is being considered, yet Galatasaray holds a price tag of 130 million euros, rendering Watkins the unconditional priority. For the wide forward position, the Saudi giant is targeting 26-year-old Chelsea winger Pedro Neto. The Londoners declared a price tag of £100 million, counting on an auction between Al-Hilal and Manchester City. However, for the Manchester side, this domino effect triggers only when Tottenham officially pays the buyout for Brazilian Savinho, handing the Saudis every chance to beat the citizens. Italian side Roma is closing one of the most intriguing and complex legal deals of this transfer window, signing 19-year-old Portuguese Porto attacking midfielder and winger Rodrigo Mora. The young talent's transfer became possible thanks to refined work by renowned agent Jorge Mendes, who unlocked a conflict situation between club and player. Rodrigo Mora is considered one of the most talented Porto Academy products of his generation, holding a contract through 2030 with a €70 million buyout clause. However, following the arrival of the Dragons' new head coach, Francesco Ferrioli, the 19-year-old youngster ended up deep on the bench. The player's entourage publicly declared his desire to switch clubs due to a lack of pitch time, causing tension with executive management. Since Porto under President Andre Villas-Boas urgently required cash to comply with financial fair play rules, while Roma lacked the capability to lay out €50 million in a single payment, Jorge Mendes devised a two-stage hybrid scheme. Under the agreement, the Romans pay €25 million guaranteed for the initial 50% of economic rights to the player, while the overall package, including add-ons, reaches €30 million. Written into the contract is a special option to buy out the remaining 50% of rights for an additional €25 million, alongside a 50% sell-on profit clause in favor of Porto. The Portuguese club's president has signed all necessary paperwork, and Mora received permission to fly to Rome for his medical examination and to sign a 5-year contract.